Hi everyone, this is Una Cammilleri with my assessment of my instructional design unit. I used transactional distance to teach foundational distance learning skills to teachers. Basically, I was trying to teach them how to start up their Google Classrooms and get their students into them and teach them just enough so that they could teach their students. And transactional distance seemed like the perfect model for distance learning because of sort of these two key things. When there's a significant distance between teacher and student, which is exactly where we all are right now, as well as the level of interaction between the teacher and learner decreasing, and then learner autonomy increasing. And so I designed this model as though it were a perfect situation given what we were facing. In reality, I had done a lot of this in a scramble and have had the opportunity now with this class to look back on what I did and plan a unit as though I would have liked it to go. Did the task yield appropriate evidence of the identified understanding? So my job was to teach these teachers to create their own classrooms and teach them enough so that they could teach their own students. So the tasks creating a Google Classroom. Yes, there's concrete evidence because do the classrooms exist or not? The good news is they all do exist. Teaching students to find the classrooms and enroll. And yes, all the students are in their classrooms and are learning. So those are major successes for us. And finally, are their students successful is really what the ultimate task here is. Did I teach the teachers well enough to teach the students? And while, of course, it has not been a smooth ride, things have gone very well. So do the tasks involve real-world, authentic application of the knowledge learned? A resounding yes for this, in fact, almost too much. We really could have used less real-world learning and more formalized practice opportunities. Our real-world application is honestly what the success of my school hangs on right now. We are a struggling private school, and this is a big opportunity for us to show that we were able to get up and running with this. We are still educating our students, and we are valuable. So ultimately, I would have liked, honestly, less real world or a little less quickly as we had to jump into the real world. Are there an appropriate amount of assessments and formats used? Again, in reality, no. Honestly, I would say the assessment was all real world, really. In teaching this unit, if I were able to teach it more formally, in a controlled manner. The formative assessments would have been our in-class practice day, where the students have their teachers with them, our overnight homework practice, where students have to do an assignment from home, but have the opportunity to come back in. So were the students successful completing the tasks? That would have been a nice formative assessment. As far as summative, honestly, this won't be seen yet. What do we need to know? The major thing is, will our students be successful this year? And how do we assess this? What are we going to compare it to? Do we still have in place pre-global pandemic measures? Do we want our students to perform as though they hadn't missed any school at all? That would be fantastic, but that's probably not a reality. So honestly, I don't know what the summative assessments look like quite yet. Were students given the opportunity to self-assess and reflect upon their learning and performance? Yes, and remember, my students were my teachers. So who came in for extra help? Some came in on their own, feeling like they needed extra help. Who came in for their assigned required meetings? Honestly, not everybody. We had teachers who came in who probably didn't even need to come in, knew what they were doing, and came in anyway. So we were able to go beyond the material I had given them. And we had some who were asked to come in for help and still didn't. Adults were probably performing the same way that students would. Some were resistant. And then honestly, a lot of this is about job security. If our school is struggling, teachers need to show that they are still valuable, even in this situation. So were the teachers able to continue being an effective teacher? And last were the standards. I mostly focused on the standard for student. Remember, student for me is a teacher. In in building their networks and customizing their learning environments, which they absolutely did, going from in-person to online. And then the last one was a education leader standard, ensuring that all students have skilled teachers who actively use technology, which is exactly what they were doing.